Tell me a little bit about how you see yoga and how you see that it could benefit people so that they can live a long and healthy life. Hello everyone, this is the yoga section of our virtual summit. We're going to cover how practicing yoga on a regular basis can help you to live a long and healthy life. Our guest today is Sheila Smith, who has been a yoga teacher for 14 years. She's a certified yoga teacher. She has classes all around the San Gabriel Valley. I'm really fortunate, we're really fortunate to have her here. Thank you for coming. Tell me a little bit about how you became a yoga teacher.
I'd love to. So, about 18 years ago, a friend of mine saw that I was really stressed out, and she had been practicing yoga for a while. And she said, "You need a yoga class. You better come. Meet me at 7 a.m. And I'm not a morning person, but I came. And it was challenging for me, the class. But by the end of the class, I felt so good. I felt calm and relaxed and just more energetic. And I thought, well, it was hard to get to that point, but I'm coming back because I like that feeling. And I never turned back. And it led me to teacher training. And now, as you said, I've been practicing for 14 years here in Pasadena. I love it.
Really good. Tell me a little bit about how you see yoga and how you see that it could benefit people so that they can live a long and healthy life.
So the benefits to me, or everyone in general, is how it brings us more to an awareness of our own body. It helps us to clear our mind and emotions, especially in this day and age. We go through a lot of changes. Technology moves very quickly, and a yoga practice helps me personally to focus, to release emotions, to kind of have this better sense of who I am, the energy within me, and that carries me through some of the challenges outside of the yoga classes that are just everyday challenges that we all have. It as far as longevity is concerned, you know, the component of working on your physical body, I'm working on your joints and your muscles. You're getting more nutrients to these areas. You're working on balance, which can be very good for when you get older. If you have more balance in your life, you may not suffer so much from falls,
right,
and which can be, you know, dangerous and lead to more injury or big injuries. The breath work that we do is really key because it helps me to focus. And I'm kind of like the person who's like, squirrel, you know, my mind is always going off in different directions. So the focus, that the meditation and working on the precision of postures helps me stay in the moment. And I really like that because sometimes my mind is going off in 16 different directions all at once. So these are just some of the components. I work a lot with people who are in residential drug rehabilitation. And they're a tough group. Some of them have come off the streets, they're homeless people or fresh out of prison system, and they have no idea about yoga. And to be able to introduce them, a lot of them are like, no, I'm not going to do it. Like many of us, oh, you got to be flexible, you have to be in shape. But once they get into the practice, they see that more flexibility they begin to notice their flexibility change, and they begin to notice how their breathing changes, which is such a huge component of our practicing yoga. Timing our movements with the breathing, slowing our breath down, or sometimes speeding our breath up to give us more energy. And it all works really beautifully once people try it. take a little chance, come to a class, come to a couple of different classes and see what fits for you. I feel is really important for anybody who wants to try and stay physically fit, physically active as they get older, but for any age really.
That's really fascinating. Do they find that doing yoga helps them go through their recovery?
Absolutely. In fact, just the other day I was teaching an energizing breath to my class, and afterwards, this guy's eyes, this big bodybuilder, and his eyes just popped open, and he said, I have never felt so focused. My eyes have never felt so open. I feel like I'm really in the moment right now. And I just wanted to jump out of my seat and hug him because, the guys around him, they're kind of like, oh, I don't know. But to have this big, burly guy talk about, man, I'm going to make this part of my daily routine, because I want to keep feeling this good, this focused, this clear. And that's really big for people who are in rehab, because prior to that, they've been medicating themselves to try and not feel things. But the yoga practice can bring them into the moment and make them feel really open and focused.
I suppose like anything else, the more you put into it, the more commitment you give it, the more you're going to receive the benefits.
Absolutely. That's why I'm really pleased at the rehabs that I work at. We have 2 or 3 classes a week, to build a rhythm, to build a routine, that's where we start to really learn, and we also start to see the changes. I have these guys who can't touch their toes when they come in, and they're so happy to show me, 3-4 weeks down the line that, look, I can touch my toes, I've gotten to there. And it just makes my heart sing to see them so happy, and to also, we have to experience things, try things out, and to see that they're not maybe as difficult as we thought they were, and maybe some of it is really fun. Because I always like to put fun into my classes.
Yeah, of course. That's always enjoyable. So do you have any, do you work with people that are, young or middle-aged, or, is there a general trend of the people you work with?
In fact, in the rehab, I work with all ages. So, early 20s on up to their 70s. I find in my studio class, folks are mainly 50 or older.
Oh.
And what's really neat in those classes is they've been coming for a long time, and we get to know each other. It becomes like we have a community here. In fact, one of my classes we call the Breakfast Club, because we all come together at 9 a.m. and sometimes we have treats, breakfast treats, but we also just
So treats are part of yoga?
Whoa, absolutely.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I like treats.
Me too.
Great. Well, that's really interesting. Okay, so you were talking about how it helps go through life. Can you give an example of what would happen if you're in your life, all of a sudden you're faced with a real stress or challenge, and what are some of the things that you would do to help you get through that and stay relaxed and not freak out?
Great question. I think first and foremost is working on our breathing. I didn't realize, I mentioned that my friend brought me because I was stressed out from work, and didn't really have a good balance of my work life and the rest of my life. So working on breathing.
Now, what do you mean by that? Yeah, we have to breathe.
Yeah, right. Great question. So in yoga, we work with controlling our breath. Studies have found that when we can slow our breathing down and bring it into balance, so the inhale and the exhale are of equal length, that our mind starts to calm down. And when our mind begins to calm down, then our whole physical body follows the mind. And you can actually, through this slower breathing, lower your heart rate, but still be oxygenating the body properly. And that balance and that slowness starts to cool us down. And believe it or not, I was born a redhead, so I have fiery redhead temper. And doing a long, deep breath has been the biggest gift to me in my yoga practice, because on a daily basis, I mean, I used to be the person who's like, you want me to do that? And I told my breath, okay, I'll go do it. And now I remember, just take 3 long, deep breaths. And by slowing that breath down, we're also becoming present more in the moment. I'm not racing ahead to think about, is this going to be okay for me? Am I going to be able to do it? Am I going to let them down? You know, all that sort of stuff. And it's kind of the key component to processing, to working through challenges or situations that, whoa, I didn't expect that. You know, so we can also work with breath that can help, you know, actually change our blood pressure. There are other breaths that are even beyond the long, deep breathing. We can actually physically cool our body down, help our body temperature lower, which is, you know, in times of stress when our immune system is really kicked in, or we need it to work overtime, we need some of that cooling down. So there are so many ways through breath practice that we can transform our lives.
Tell me a little bit about, in yoga there are a lot of different postures. And you see pictures of people and, you know, it looks like maybe 1% of the population could actually get into that. First of all, what's happening with the postures, and what do you get benefit even if you're not able to do those postures completely?
Absolutely, that's a great question. In fact, in my classes, especially with the rehab folks, their bodies have been damaged by abuse of all sorts, and all of us have, you know, had habits that maybe have, or injuries, trauma to our lives that get trapped in our bodies. So what I have to do with a lot of my classes is give modifications. And so you don't have to be able to be a pretzel, you know, and sit cross-legged for an hour and a half straight. I give modifications. I encourage people that even in a given posture, we are breathing, we can be using vibration as well as the posture. So if you need to modify the pose, stay with the breathing, stay with the vibration that is helping to carry you through the different postures.
And even if they're modified and not as difficult, you're still getting benefit.
Yeah, absolutely, because, you know, you're moving your body, even if it's a small movement. If your movement is just, you know, 2 inches forward, 2 inches back, you know, and that's what you can do today in the moment where your body's allowing you, that's what you do. But if you can move a little more, you know, 3 or 4 inches, or really get things going, depending on your abilities, depending on your health at the time, you know, you're going to get a benefit from the movement, from the breathing, and from really positive vibrations.
And I imagine if you're only able to do it a little bit, but you stay consistent with that, you start to get more movement.
Absolutely. It goes back to, you know, talking about folks who think, oh, I got to be able to touch my toes. I'm not flexible, so I'm not going to do yoga. But, you know, if you start with your stretches here, you know, to help your low back, this is where your stretch is. You're doing it beautifully. You're breathing properly. I give you a vibration to help you along, to keep the mind engaged. As long as you're working on this, you're getting benefits. And then, as I said, week after week, with the repetition, our bodies and our minds love the repetition because we learn from it. And then you start to feel yourself making your way towards your toes, perhaps. But we also understand that not everybody has the same flexibility. Some are born really flexible, some have to work on it. And it's all a process, and that's what makes it a beautiful thing to see where you are starting from, what you progress to. We realize sometimes it's just like in life, you reach a plateau, so maybe you try something a little different, or you add something to the mix, and you raise your ability through that process.
Most people know that yoga came from India, and that it's got roots in the Hindu religion. I don't know, is there any religious connection between yoga? I mean, is it like you've got to believe in the Hindu tenets or anything for yoga to work for you?
I do get that question a lot. One of my longest practicing students, first day he came to class, he asked me, I have strong religious beliefs, and I don't want this to conflict with those beliefs. And I made sure to let him know that, the word yoga means union. And it means the union of the mind, the body, and spirit. So spirit is your practice. It can be your religious practice, it can be your lifestyle. Opening up your soul to possibilities is the spiritual practice, but it's not a religion. Yoga is about union, just bringing different components of ourselves together in union.
Yeah. It almost sounds like if you are a spiritual or religious person, that yoga would enhance that, whatever religion or belief system you have, make you have more faith, more connection.
That's a great observation. In yoga, we're unlocking or really getting in touch with our internal energy, our reserve energy. So when we're open and using that energy, all aspects of our lives are going to be improved. It's all very complementary, and that's why it's a great lifestyle choice. Whether you go once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, or you practice every day, you're unlocking your own energy. You're opening your heart to really maybe have even you're opening your heart to perhaps have just a more rich experience of how your true life is meant to be.
Now, I've seen that there are some yoga classes. I mean, we've been talking from kind of a very spiritual orientation, but I know there's a lot of yoga classes that are just kind of like, an exercise class. They're just doing yoga instead of Western exercise. Does that matter? Do you have to have all of this spiritual, focus doing yoga, or are you going to get a lot of the benefit even if you're an atheist or
right.
Don't even buy into all of this other stuff?
Yeah, no, it's a great physical workout. It's as I mentioned earlier, you're really focusing on your breathing. It's movement, but it's also staying still. It's you're going to do poses that you're going to bear your own weight, which is great for muscle strength, for bones as well. As we age, like I was told by my doctor, I'm pre-osteoporosis, so I need to do more lifting and
So all
take
of
my
those
vitamins.
calming benefits and lowering blood pressure, all of those things, that's just any yoga that you do you're gonna have that benefit.
Absolutely, and it's just like exercise.
Yeah.
You're going to get those same benefits.
Right.
What I love is that you can come in, you can do the sets, do the practice really hard, and sitting right next to you is someone who's moving very slowly and taking their own time, and each of you are getting benefits based on what you put into it. So it can really enrich your life that way.
So this is really a beautiful studio that we're in. Tell me a little bit about where we are.
Yeah, this is the Awareness Center, a yoga studio that's been here in Pasadena since the 70s, and just kind of guiding people in Altadena, Pasadena, and the San Gabriel Valley. We've had students, so thousands of students over the years, and it's a center where we have a really rich community of involvement. You know, we bring in sound healing, we bring in yoga practices, other modalities of healing as well, and it's like a health center. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right here in the heart of Pasadena.
Thank you. I wonder if we could demonstrate some simple yoga and maybe even a meditation that, you know, that's connected with the yoga that people could start practicing on their own and start receiving some of these benefits.
I'd be happy to do that now.
Oh, great.
Let's get going.
Great.
All right, welcome back. What we'd like to do right now is show you some of the postures from a typical yoga class, working on our flexibility. So we hope you join us for this by sitting in a chair, or if you feel comfortable enough, being on the floor, sitting cross-legged. As you can see, Dr. Khalsa is sitting on a bolster, or a blanket is good for this. We definitely use props to help us sustain our practice. You know, we need props sometimes, especially as we get older, and it just helps us stay with practice. So we're going to go through a series of poses. We're going to coordinate our breathing with the movements that we practice here. So to begin with, we'll just close our eyes and focus inward and take a nice long deep breath. As you begin your inhale, relax your stomach muscles. Draw air into the lungs and just as slowly exhale all the air back out. And take another deep breath the same way. With the inhale, feel yourself raising your energy. Through the exhale, feel yourself rooted in the earth, supported and secure. So we're going to go through these postures, taking a little bit of time to explain them and then practicing them for a little bit. So the first posture is called the spinal flex. You place your hands either on the shins or on your knees. You try and keep your spine tall, and we're going to begin by inhaling, bringing the chest forward. The shoulder blades come towards each other along the back. As you exhale, you're going to rock back a little bit and bring the shoulder blades apart. So you're going to inhale as you move forward, exhale as you move back. And I'm just going to time you for a little bit here. So find a rhythm with your breath. Inhale forward, exhale back. Inhale forward, exhale back. So as I mentioned earlier, you can practice this sitting cross-legged or in a chair. If you're practicing in a chair, you just want to make sure that your feet are firmly planted on the floor and you've got enough room to move forward and back. And there we have it. Go ahead and inhale to center and exhale completely. So I really appreciate you being my student today. This is really fun. Our next posture is called the spinal twist. So we're going to bring the hands up onto the shoulders, and we want to keep the spine lifted, have this sense of a very tall spine from the base all the way to the crown of your head. And as you inhale, you're going to twist to your left. As you exhale, you're going to twist to your right. And begin a continuous movement here, side to side. Again, moving within your range of motion. So when we start a yoga practice, it's great to warm up and get a sense of how your body feels in the moment. Are you going to be able to perhaps move quicker as you get more energy activated? This is all part of the practice. It's the process that you go through as you practice each and every posture. So just a couple more seconds here. To finish up, you're going to come back to center and inhale deeply. And exhale completely. Our next posture is going to help open up the chest and work with improving our posture and alignment of the spine. So with this posture, you're going to bring your hands onto the shoulders And you're going to inhale as you bring the shoulder blades towards each other along the back. Lift your chin. Now as you exhale, fold as you bring your elbows towards the navel point. And you're going to alternate between these two positions. Inhale, opening up. Exhale as you fold forward. And continue here, moving with the breath. Beginning to really feel energy flowing through the spine. Good posture. Again, take your time with these poses, especially if they're brand new to you. You want to make sure we get them right. And what's beautiful about this is you can extend the time with this little video. You can extend the time of each posture to really help you feel your energy begin to flow. So go ahead and inhale up and exhale completely. So let's warm up the shoulders now with what we call shoulder shrugs. In this posture, you're always, as in others, you're focusing on keeping the spine lifted from the tailbone up to the crown of the head. And you're going to keep the chin tucked back, your chest is open, and you're going to inhale as you lift the shoulders up towards the ears, exhale as you let them drop. You keep going here. We're loosening up the shoulders, bringing energy and nutrients to the shoulder area. It's going to help you when you get to more challenging postures. It just is nice to keep ourselves limber. It's also an area where a lot of us hold stress and we want to release that. So this is a great posture to help with your stress relief and flexibility. And go ahead, inhale the shoulders up and exhale as you let them drop down. Our next posture is going to work on a vital area of the body, and it's our neck and our throats. So what we're going to do is practice what we call the neck roll. This is another area of the body where we hold a lot of stress and tension. So if we want to practice and improve our flexibility and release stress, this is a great area to work on. It needs to be warmed up. This is really essential in any yoga practice. So we're going to keep the spine lifted, the chest is open, and you're going to begin by bringing the chin to the chest. Gently, slowly circle ear to shoulder. Roll the head around, bringing the opposite ear to opposite shoulder and the chin back to the chest. Move slowly and gently, and in this posture, it's a really nice idea to put a smile on your face. You're using fewer muscles. It's going to help relax the neck and throat a little bit more as you continue. And we can always do one more posture, one more circle in this direction. Bring the chin to the chest and gently, slowly reverse the direction. So in poses where we move to one side, most of the time we're going to then reverse and do it in the opposite direction, especially for balance and just getting a nice equilibrium going with our energy. And we'll just finish up by bringing the chin to the chest, and on your next inhale, deep breath, lifting the spine, and exhale completely.
Wow, that feels really good. My back was a little sore when we started, and it feels much looser, and just all that breathing, I feel a lot calmer, a lot more centered. This feels like something I could do every morning to just start the day and warm up.
It really is. It's a trick practice. So I'd like to teach you a meditation right now, and it really is a breath practice meditation. It's called the meditation for a disease-free body. So we're going to be working with a powerful breath and a little bit of movement of our hands. We're going to practice for 3 minutes because that's a really nice place to start with meditation. And this is how we're going to practice the meditation. I'm going to time you, so that's why I've got my phone and the camera. All right. We're going to bend the elbows and have the hands resting over the knees to begin with. We're going to be inhaling in 5 equal sniffs through the nose. So it's going to look like this. Then we're going to exhale 5 equal sniffs through the mouth. We bend the elbows, have the palms facing each other, fingers together. We're going to be moving the hands with each sniff as we inhale and each sniff as we exhale. So the combination looks like this. When we're moving the arms, we want to have a little bit of force, as though we're going to clap the hands together, but we don't want them to touch. So there's some control going on here as we move the hands. All right? So in our meditative practice, we typically like to close the eyes and focus inward so that we can have a better experience. We won't be distracted by things going on in the room or around us. So we're going to sit with the tall spine, bring the hands just above your knees, and close the eyes. Let's take a deep breath together. Exhale completely, and we'll begin. Finish up, we're going to inhale deeply, hold briefly, and exhale. Just relax your hands down, rest them on the knees, and notice any changes that you may feel from before we practice. Welcome to open your eyes A lot of.
Well, God, so much great information, about breathing and some yoga. We're going to have, you can download the simple yoga postures and the meditation that Sheila taught as well on the presenters page. More information about Sheila and her class. And the Awareness Center is making a special gift offer for you if you want to start doing yoga there. Well, Sheila, thank you so much for your time. It's been so helpful. I think people will really get a lot out of understanding how they can use yoga to be healthier now, to be more relaxed now, and that this will help them to live a longer and fuller life.
It's been my pleasure, and I think this is a fantastic experience. Thank you so much.